summer season has just left the island of Sodor, and the engines were glad to return to their normal duties. However, there were many more passengers than usual, and many controllers were scrambling for new and exciting vehicles to keep their networks afloat. One day, Duke and Smudger were idling at the station, awaiting orders from the Thing controller, Mr. Percival. Now, for those who don't know, Smudger is a show-off. If you were to ask why, allow me to give you the demonstration. Every chance he makes, he can prove to the other engines how useful he can be, which results in him being careless, riding roughly, and often coming off the rails. His favorite engine to show off was Duke, who by many was regarded as the oldest and yet wisest of the narrow-gauge engines. The two engines waited and waited until they heard an unfamiliar revving. It was a shiny old-fashioned road vehicle who was donning a bright shade of yellow paint, a white rooftop, and was wearing a confidential smile. Out of all road vehicles such as Terrence, Birdie, Bulgy, Butch, and so forth, the two engines had never seen such an oddball of a road vehicle like this one before. What's this here? Another one of them sports vehicles carrying Hollywood autograph hounds? Give me a break. Actually, this here is our very first railway taxi, smiled Mr. Percival. In case another engine is busy or is waiting at another station, we can use this new taxi to deliver your passengers just like clockwork. He's got that right. Usefulness on the road is my kind of specialty. I'm Revkey. Well, it's nice to meet you, little guy. I'm Duke. And over here we have Smudger. He can be kind of a backstabber, or better yet, a show-off, if anything. I heard that, Dookie. All right, simmer down, you two. Let's get ready for your passenger trains today. There's so much to do and so little time. Come on, Revkey. You bet, sir. What a nice taxi. Isn't it exciting, Smudger? Now many more passengers can go from station to station in both train and taxi at the same time. Yeah, right. Taking passengers is our job. Well, we just gotta keep moving forward, that's all. If not, what might the railway come to? Yeah. What if that taxi is the perfect example of our replacement, permanently? What may happen to all of us then? Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got to deliver my passengers today. Well, all right, but be careful, Smudger. You don't want to puff roughly and come off the rails, do you? Listen, Dookie, who worries about a few accidents? I certainly don't. Goodbye. He never listens to me. So Smudger went to fetch his coaches. They didn't like the sight of him at all. Not so hard, me lad. Smudger, what do you think you're doing? Be careful with those coaches, me lad. The workmen had those repainted last week. Yeah? Well, they'll be repainting them when I'm proven to be really useful. Oy vey, some engines today. Later that day, he pulled up to the station where James was waiting for him. Why, hello there. What's your name? James. Your name? Smudger. Say, do you like pulling passengers? Precisely. I'd be sure to give Gordon a run for his money anyhow. At least it's much better than pulling dirty trucks from dirty sidings. Yeah, well, you better enjoy it while you still can, buddy. Unless you want to be replaced by an old-fashioned taxi. James was speechless. Smudger was chuffing carefully through the countryside. Suddenly, without warning, something unusual took Smudger's attention, and it was Oh, well, there's Rev Key. But there's no way he's going to replace all of us steam engines now. Perhaps a little rail/road race wouldn't hurt anybody.
I wouldn't increase the speed if I were you, Smudger, said his driver. Besides, you heard what Duke said, right? But Smudger wasn't listening. This was the chance that he had been waiting for.
Oh, hi there, Smudger. How are you today? But Smudger just laughed. Then there was trouble. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but Smudger was feeling rather silly.
Later that day, Revkey heard that Smudger was in trouble, so he kindly delivered his own passengers to help him back on the rails again, whilst another engine took his train to make up for lost time.
Well, Smudger, I warned you to be careful, but you didn't take much notice, did you?
Yeah, right, he snarled. Besides, I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for that meddling taxi who's planning to take our passengers and leaving us in the dust. Say what? What makes you think I want to replace steam engines on Sodor? Why, I wouldn't mind being really useful and keeping the railway network afloat. It's in my blood. All right, fellas, easy, easy.
So, with the best strength possible, the workmen managed to lift Smudger back on the rails again.
Well, it looks like my work here is done. Goodbye, fellas. Instead of saying thank you, Smudger could only make an angry sneer at Revkey. By the time he had crawled back to the sheds, the thin controller, Mr. Percival, wasn't very happy. You are a very naughty engine, Smudger, he said. One of these days, we're going to have to send you over to the Sodor Steamworks to have your engine looked at, so this way you won't come off the rails too easily. I suppose that'll teach you to learn some rock and roll tricks from Duncan. The next morning, it wasn't made very clear if Smudger had learned his lesson, for some children walked up and was granted permission by their families to come and have a look at the engines. One called out,
"Hey, look, everybody! Here's Smudger. He tried to race a taxi yesterday, but the taxi nearly beat him."
And the children all laughed and smiled till they nearly had the case of the hiccups. Poor Smudger never believed in taxis now.
The city of Townsville, an entire society where we witness everybody heading over to Townsville First National Bank to cash in their checks after a hard day's work. But wherever there's a place that has money, there is someone who wants to steal it. Everybody down on the ground! Don't look at me!
Freeze! Put your hands in the air!
Why, it ends now. Gentlemen, take care of these guys. Hello. I see. Hey, you don't say. You don't say. Well, all right. I'll let the others know about this. Thank you. Red alert, girls. Townsville is under attack. But this time, it's Princess Morebucks, who is robbing national banks as we speak. Princess Morebucks? I thought she has come to the realization that she cannot be a Powerpuff Girl. I guess not. Indeed. We must have a closer look. Are you with me, girls? Loud and clear, Blossom. Aye, aye, Captain. Well, well, if it ain't Townsville's very own Three Stooges. Just what do you think you want? Well, for starters, you seem to be carrying something that doesn't belong to you. Yeah, care to explain this fat stack of money that you're carrying? Perhaps you should return it from where you got it from. Need me to make that clear for you? Oh, is that so, huh? Gentlemen, you know what to do. Take care of these girls. Looks like you don't seem to understand what you've done, do you? But don't worry, there's more than one way to hatch an idea. Adios, chuckleheads. Now where does she think she's off to, eh? I guess it's time for the three of us to do this the hard way. Morebucks is just too fast. Blossom, it looks like we're gonna have to give the pacing a big boost, wouldn't we? Yeah, like, we need to go much faster, like even faster. Then there's no time to lose. I'm not going to have to say this again. Return that money from which you stole, or prepare to face the consequences. What makes you think that I want to start listening to rats like you? This is my money now, and it's mine only. Well, I guess you know what they say. They always refuse. Yo, Bubbles, how far off course are we? This doesn't look good. Hey guys, I think you might want to ease up on the cat fight. Up ahead!
so the day was saved, thanks to the Powerpuff Girls.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning. So, what have we got today, Bob?
I'm glad you asked. Rumor has it that there's a couple who got married yesterday and decided, hey, why not move over to Bobsville? So naturally, I found a perfect location for all of us to put together only the finest apartment building imaginable.
You know, that actually sounds quite thoughtful of us. Indeed.
That's right, Dizzy and Muck. Now, in case you don't remember, most people can be in a housing crisis and people need a place to live. But if they can't do that, then they can afford rental property. That includes finding only a temporary motel room until a month later, they can find the perfect place to be at. You know, I guess that kind of explains equity. Indeed, Scoop. Well, I guess we better hop right to it. And remember, once you arrive at said location, I'll meet you there. No problem, Bob. Well, what are we waiting for, Jimmy Durante? Let's go!
Sure, why not?
It sure looks like the place, all right. This building may be a bit worn out and requires a much cheaper price, but it must have a fair chance, because working together will get the job done. What do you say, gang?
I guess so. Then we better get rocking and rolling.
Hang on a tick. Don't you hear that eerie buzzing?
Hey, thank you, Harold. I didn't know you once traveled from Sodor to Bobsville.
Well, you know what they say. It's good to have friends in high places. But that's not all.
I guess that's fair enough. Well, what do you say, fellas? Can we fix it?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, team, time to get building.
Well, that went smooth.
You know, I was gonna say, you can say that again, Scoop. However,
Well done, everybody. Quite a marvelous building we've put together, if I do say so myself. Well, it just goes to show you that working together, you can help get the job done.